Hi, everyone. This is Tess. And today, or tonight, I guess, I wanted to talk about toxic relationships. I hear a lot about it, and, it's obviously one's perception of what toxic is and stuff like that. So I kind of got into all that. I was in the mood earlier, so I did some research. Um, and it really did kind of like sort of uh, make me look at toxic relationships a little bit different, but not really much. I looked up Karen Young's 15 Signs of a Toxic Relationship from heysigmund.com, and we won't even get into my thoughts on Freudian ideas. Just that, no, I do not have penis envy. I do not wish I had a penis. But other than that, yeah, I mean, a lot of Freud's ideas were very beyond his time, I guess. But a lot of women, have a lot of problems with his view on women and stuff like that, which we won't get into. But this is a woman that actually wrote this. And I will go through it. I'm going to go through it. And then I kind of went through and wrote my ideas on it and how to possibly fix that if that's something that you wish to do in that relationship. So, um, number one, it feels bad all the time. And in there, she says about, you're looking at other couples, wishing that your relationship was like that or whatever, it never actually feeling good. Number two, you're constantly braced for the gotcha. When questions become traps, no longer questions, but you're kind of walking into a situation, a trap, a fight, whatever it may be, kind of feeling like you're walking on eggshells. When the situation gets to that, it can't be good. Number three is you avoid saying what you need because there's no point. Um, you're looking for validation, appreciation, love, sex, affection, all of those things that you might need in a relationship and might need to have more of. You might be afraid to talk about because of rejection or it turning into a fight. So instead of saying anything, you just don't say anything. Number four, there's no effort. A person can be physically present in the relationship, but what about emotional investment? So the person can be there, say that they're in a relationship with you, but if they really don't put any time or effort into the relationship or into bettering it, whatever the case may be, then that could be heading towards toxic. Um, Number five is all the work, love, compromise comes from you. And like, in this one, it reminds me of Aristotle, the two souls inhibiting one body. But in this instance, it's like, both parties can feel this way that the other person isn't doing enough or isn't doing what they should be or isn't doing it fast enough. And the other person could be thinking the exact same thing about them. So, it's like it could go, this one could go both ways in a toxic relationship. A lot of these can, but this one definitely. Number six, when no is a dirty word. When boundaries aren't set, um, when you don't agree on things, and, not, and like, saying yes just to make the other person happy, shut up, whatever the case may be. Um, that's not a good thing because that's not, you know, positive communication in any type of way. So, number seven is the scorecard. Let me show you how wrong you are. Obviously, being human, we make mistakes, but with no communication, those wrongs are never righted because they're never heard of. So if it's just, always the wrongs, the wrongs, the wrongs, and like that scorecard keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and the right things that you do aren't seen, then yeah, it can become very toxic very quickly. Number eight is there's a battle and you're on your own again. Kind of being like an outsider in your own relationship, kind of, not going to bat for each other, kind of just taking like different sides on a situation. in case an outsider to try to divide and conquer in that situation, they would to someone who's had that much toxicity kind of flow into their relationship. Number 9 is physical or verbal abuse, or both. She says it's just a deal breaker completely. That's Miss Young words. Um, Number 10, too much passive aggressive. Um, it's just a cowardly attempt at subtly gaining control, saying whatever or I'm fine when really you're not. And I can say that I'm definitely guilty of this myself. So, um, it happens. Number 11, nothing gets resolved. There is no trust that the other person has the capacity to deal with the issue. And instead of helping the person, it's just like meant to be resolved. Um, However means necessary, just get it done. 12, whatever you're going through, I'm going through worse. It's not a match. I mean, and it's like you may need support, but you silence yourself because the other person is still commanding the attention, even though you yourself may need support. Um, so yeah, that's another definitely toxic potential. And then there's privacy. What privacy? This is when your partner goes through your phone, your text messages, your phone bill, your receipts, whatever the case may be, wherever the trust is that is lacking. Instead of, whatever, like going through these things, is showing that there's a lack of trust in the relationship. So that can be an issue. 14, lying, of course. Once trust is so far gone, yeah, you doubt you'll ever get it back, which is definitely, definitely, definitely the case, for sure. Number 15, big decisions are for important people, and clearly you're not one of them. If the person you're with does not include you in critical decisions that will affect you as well, then it could be considered a toxic relationship. So that is her thoughts on what makes a toxic relationship completely toxic. So, um, of course, many people will have one or more of these. These are my thoughts. Now we're going to switch to my thoughts on this stuff, okay? Because, a lot of these things, she may say deal breaker, but like I said, it's all on opinion. So, many people have one of these things or more, but having all of them could mean that the relationship is toxic. But this is one woman's opinion. The true definition of toxicity is the quality of being very harmful or unpleasant in a persuasive or insidious way. And that being said, insidious to me is a pretty harsh word. It might not be to you. I don't know. But to me, if you use that kind of word, that's pretty harsh. And if you're describing your relationship as insidious, then it's definitely time to, take a step back from it. That also being said, there are ways that you can make those things healthier. And I'm sorry, I'm going to read through my notes, so I apologize. It's not really me looking at the screen, but I did make a lot of interesting notes that I thought maybe, some people that are affected by these things could possibly, take something from it. Now, these are all signs that the relationship could be toxic. And there are things you need to ask yourself. The first one is this relationship worth it? To me, to everyone, is it worth it? Is it worth it to go through the pain, especially if you're trying to fix a toxic situation? You're going to go through trials and tribulations, and things aren't always going to be that easy. But the second question you need to ask yourself is, do you truly love that person? If you truly love that person, then yes, you should try to see if you can get rid of some of that toxic energy and replace it with more positive energy. And are you willing to try? One of them is just sitting back and not doing anything. Are you willing to actually step up to the plate and try as well and have it be like a give or take thing? And the main answer is communication, obviously. For number 1, I don't know if you guys need me to go back and read it, but number 1 is, if it feels bad all the time. Now, number 1 for me, sometimes it isn't always bad. That's just what people focus on. Take pictures during the fun times. Take pleasure in the laughs and try to forget the bad, both of you, and instead find a solution to make it better. That would be my suggestion on number one. If it always feels bad to you, work on ways to make it feel better. Work on ways to make each other feel special. Number two, you're constantly braced for the gotcha. My solution for that would be when you feel like your partner's statements or you feel as though he or she is expecting to catch you or got you somehow, verbalize that, whether it's because of past mistakes or their past relationships. They may not realize that they're making you feel this way. So make sure you verbalize it. Don't be afraid to verbalize in your relationship. If you're already fighting, then what is the difference if you verbalize yourself or silence yourself? So I mean, if it's already heading in a toxic direction, what's the harm in trying to verbalize how you feel? Because maybe that person doesn't realize that they're doing that. So you could be helping someone else as well. Number three being you avoid saying what you need because there's just no point, like I just said. Think about the difference between a want and a need. That's big, first of all. And if you truly feel like you need to have something in your relationship, then make that known. If the other person mocks or ignores those needs, you have to ask yourself if the person ever cared, if your needs aren't being met, or at least listened to. So I mean maybe the person can't meet your so-called needs if that's what you determine their needs. Maybe they are just unable to do that at the time, but at least listening to you and acknowledging that those are important to you and that it's up on the to-do list, basically. So number four is there's no effort. So don't stand on the dance floor alone. I mean, me, I do. I would just dance, but like don't stand there alone. Doing separate things at times is definitely healthy. You can't spend 24/7 with someone for sure. Like having separate hobbies is definitely healthy. But when this becomes too much, it can be bad. But doing things together creates bonds and memories, and they should show that they want to spend time with just you. So, if you can plan trips with a person and, have fun with them while you're out and just enjoy the little things, that's huge. And then you maybe might learn that you guys have more in common than you thought and, like start to do things together. Um, so that's pretty neat how that can work out, take trips, be adventurous. Number five being all the work, love, compromise comes from you. Both parties can feel this way at the same exact time about each other. It can feel lonely and exhausting. And it's actually like the acronym HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you're feeling any of those things, you're supposed to stop and just readjust, refocus, whatever you need to do. Um, I think it's important to talk together. Take the time out that you need to think and process it, then talk together and see how you both can work and make each other feel loved, acknowledged. Both put work into it and what you're willing to compromise, basically. Some people aren't willing to compromise some things, and that's okay. Number six being when no is a dirty word. To me, no sometimes needs to be said in relationships. And sometimes it's important to say no. You just have to put your foot down. But, at times it shouldn't be consistent, very sporadic. You shouldn't be constantly saying no to stuff. Communicate what both of you want out of the relationship. If you want respect, if you respect each other, you will know that you want to agree. You won't agree on everything. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. You won't agree on anything, on everything. But just know when to say no. That's the whole point. Is knowing when to say no and knowing when it's like, okay, I can handle this situation. So, number seven being the scorecard. Let me show you how wrong you are. To me, even the most committed partners will do hurtful, stupid things at times. That's just the way it is. It's just how it is sometimes. When those things are continuously brought back up, it'll eventually destroy the relationship. It isn't Madison Square Gardens. There's no ref, to tell you that it was below the belt. So the low blows kind of sneak in, and it builds up. And it's best to keep things to the here and now, like what's going on here and now. What can we work on right now? Because the past is gone. It's gone. And things stem from it, but what can we do to work on it and fix it right now instead of constantly focusing on the past? Number 8 being, there's a battle and you're on your own again. Okay, so to me, a partner is a partnership, correct? It's a team. The best thing is to have each other's back. I mean, that's how I see it. I watched the movie 300 the other day, and how they had all put up their shields, to have each other's back, to all the arrows, and constantly fighting to each other, and taking care of each other. That's how a relationship should be. If some kind of situation arises, you guys should be a bond, a force, to be reckoned with, because like, you should have that unshakable bond, I think. And if you don't have it, then working on these things will definitely get you closer to that. So what's number 9? Number 9 is physical or verbal abuse, or both, which Miss Young said was just a deal breaker. Physical and verbal abuse. The saying, once an abuser, always an abuser, may not always be the truth. Some people just get very angry sometimes and they can't help themselves. But if it happens regularly, it needs explicitly expressed that it cannot be done again. But if it is a repeat offense, I would have to agree with Miss Young and get out. Like, there's no point in all that. When you get to the abuse level, it's time to just tap out, because no one needs to be in that situation. Number 10 is the passive aggressive, being too much so. It's not a good thing for any relationship, but especially romantic relationships. Passive aggressiveness is not good. I would also consider this cowardly, because it doesn't give the other person a chance to deal with the issue directly. It's nonchalantly beating around the bush, instead of directly facing the problem. Passive aggressive makes people angry. You usually have the angry one and the passive aggressive one, and then it's just back and forth. And, it's like, where can you meet in the middle of those two? So number 11, nothing gets resolved. A healthy relationship involves a chance for both partners to be the supporter and the supported, I believe. If it's toxic, one person gets all the support, even if the partner needs it. This is where the compromise and communication come in. This is what I'm saying, guys. It's so important. I know it sounds corny, but it's so important, to be able to communicate and compromise with each other. If you truly love someone, it shouldn't be that hard. And the couple should walk together. Things should be resolved together. That's just how I think. And I mean, I really think, like, old school romantic, 80 years old and still holding hands. I would love for that, Number 12 being, whatever you're going through, I'm going through worse. Whatever you can do, I can do better. Anything you can do, whatever. So you get what I'm saying. Again, you may be the one person in need of support, but the other person still commands it all, the center stage. Or those who think it may be better to point out what others have, when others have it worse than you. Like, oh, you're complaining about your problem, but there's these starving children. It's like, I know that. Like, it's like, it makes me feel like what I'm having an issue with is unimportant and even stupid for voicing my opinion. I know people have it worse, and I don't go around and mope and moan to everybody, but in my relationship especially, I would say, yeah, it'd be nice to have that person to be able to talk to and feel important. Um, Number 13 is the privacy. What privacy? Snooping, going through someone's phone is never okay. And don't get me started on joint Facebook accounts due to the lack of trust. But instead of trying to find something wrong, look at all the things that are important and good. Look at all the good things that have happened, look at all the fun things. I mean, I do have a passcode on my phone because of my child, but I'll give it to someone if they want to see it. I mean, there's really nothing in my phone that I'm hiding. I have nothing to hide. Um, but I'm not saying that, like I didn't do things like this at one point, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means. So, don't take it like that, you know. The next one is lying. No matter what the reason, it's unhealthy because it can turn a strong, happy, confident couple into insecure, suspicious, jealous, even jealous people. Um, if change is what you want, you have to start telling the truth, but with the knowledge that you may never, ever gain that trust back. And if you do, it could take months or years, or again, never. And that's another thing I've been guilty of is lying. So it is. I've found her firsthand. It is very hard to gain that trust back, and it is very frustrating when you are telling the truth, but you have to think back to all the times that you weren't. That's just the way it is. Number 15, big decisions are for important people, and clearly, I'm not one of them. When it comes to big or small decisions, even matter of opinion to me. Some decisions to me might be big, some to you might be small. Decisions are they're a healthy relationship involves both partners keeping the other one in mind when it comes to decision making. Otherwise, just do it alone. Don't bother with the person if you're not going to take them into consideration. It's not fair to that other person. So, you know, uh, if you're going to make big decisions, do it together. That's part of the fun of growing a relationship and making it stronger is doing those things together and enjoying that time together. So that's kind of the research I did today. And I'm not saying that's all the parts of a toxic relationship, but I did think that out of all the articles I read, hers was like the most well put. And, I felt a lot of things that she said in there were very true. Now, obviously, that was like an article to kind of like get away from a toxic relationship, which is why I wanted to turn it into a positive. And, if you're in a toxic relationship and you don't want to give it up, no one's making you, but you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself that you're happy. And if that's not the case, then maybe your relationship is toxic. Maybe it's not your relationship. That's what you need to figure out. You know, um, it's important to make yourself happy. And I've learned that in the 72 days that I've been sitting here is, sometimes you just got to make yourself happy because there's no one around to do it. And that's fine. And if you're happy, you're more likely to attract a mate that's going to be good for you, that there isn't going to be toxicity. And, there was a time that I was very unhappy with myself. Several times in my life, I've been very unhappy with myself. I can't say I'm happy with myself sitting here with an ankle bracelet on, but it taught me lessons that I needed to learn. It got me honest. It got me to where, I have possibilities in my life now where I didn't before. And slowly things are coming together. So hopefully, and I don't know, I mean, not all of you are on my Facebook, but if you are, or if you want to do maybe I'll, do a live stream while I'm doing it. I don't know. But International Overdose Awareness Day is August 31st. I will be lighting a candle since I can't do an event or anything cool like that this year, really. I mean, I'll be listening to music and stuff like that. But I'm going to be lighting a candle at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and posting it on my Facebook. And maybe I'll put it on live here while I'm doing it. And if you feel inclined to join, feel free. That'd be great. Um, it'd be nice to spread awareness, especially because it means so much to me this year. It's very important to me. So thank you for listening to me. I don't know all the answers, I'm not Dr. Test, but in my experience, it seems like, what I read and what solutions I've come up with, because like that's always been my thing with therapy is solution focused therapy. You can focus on the problem all day long, all night long, and never ever figure it out. Or you could figure out solutions to the problem that might work for both of you. So it's not a toxic relationship anymore. And if it is a toxic relationship and you feel like you need to get out, there's no shame in that. And just make sure you do it in a classy way. I mean, there's no need to cheat. Just, if you're not with that person, then just tell them you're not with them. But like remember that like love is a funny thing, it makes you do funny things and sometimes it puts those blinders on. And it's a wonderful thing too. Don't think it's scary or anything like that. It's a wonderful thing, and if you get the chance to experience it, it can be phenomenal. So, there are ways, even if it gets to that point where it feels like, divorce or something is going to happen, which I finally just got mine like almost finalized. You wouldn't believe the steps there are to this situation, but it's almost done, and I will feel free. But, I will feel free in 3 weeks as well. So freedom is coming. I got that on my wrist. It's freedom forever, and it's coming soon, and I cannot wait because, I think that, I'm gonna be able to do a lot more with my music, with working with people and, doing a lot of different things like that, and just kinda getting out of here, getting out of this town on a fresh start. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe you didn't, but hopefully something maybe resonated with you. And if you're having problems in your relationship, I hope that one of these tips can help. It's all about communication, guys. Communication is key. All right. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you.